Thank you and good morning. I hope you all had a good night's rest after 3 grueling days of campaign. My voice has taken a beating, so you can forgive me if you don't hear the usual melodious tune that you're used to. Ahmed. Thank you very much. Well, it's been a very interesting campaign trip. We arrived and started promptly on the first day. It took us to several constituencies, 4 constituencies, almost 4 or 5 constituencies per day, averagely. And of course, having been president of this country, I'm very familiar with the Bono region, indeed the whole country. And so I was surprised that the deterioration in respect of the road network in this region is in a very poor state. And virtually every constituency I went to, it was the main complaint. And so it's a bit of a paradox that at a time when we are told that more roads have been done than ever in the history of the country, at least in the regions that I've gone to so far, Upper East, Volta, parts of Greater Accra, that's the Adan Sege area, and then Bono East and Bono, the major complaint is about the state of the road network. And so we need to make an audit and find out where those 12,000 kilometers of roads are. Because certainly, at least in the regions I've visited so far, I haven't seen any sign of those roads. And you, the media, have been traveling with me. We've all taken the bumps and the shaking together. And so you can understand what I'm saying. Yesterday, my nomination was filed, and EC is going to go through. General Mosquito, our National Chairman Johnson Asedu Kentia, presented on my behalf, of course, because we were busy on the campaign. We couldn't break the campaign to go and file personally. But our National Chairman represented me, and presented the forms. We were waiting for the EC to go through the forms and then eventually approve my candidature. And once they do that, then it means that officially one is a candidate in the election for 2024. I felt very proud at several of the stops where the chiefs acknowledged the monumental development programs that NDC had embarked on when we were in office. I was particularly grateful to the Nkran Kwanta chief, because he virtually reeled off almost everything that the NDC had done. And it was clear that everything that, it's really life transforming in that constituency was provided by the NDC. From light to water to roads to school infrastructure to health infrastructure to provision of water, drinking water and all that. And so one feels proud when you go and you get acknowledged for some of the good work that you've done. But certainly, like in all the other regions, youth unemployment is the main issue. The youth came out in their numbers, and it is clear that it is a ticking time bomb for us as a country. We need to accelerate the economy. We need to invest in the areas of the economy that will provide decent and sustainable jobs for young people. And we need to do that urgently. Certainly, the current government has no panacea for youth unemployment, because they've taken the unemployment rate from 8.4% to 14.7% in just 8 years. And so when they talk about creating 2 million jobs, you ask, where are those 2 million jobs? If unemployment has risen to 14.7%, then you can't have created 2.something million jobs. But we all know that this is a government that is used to propaganda And unfortunately, when you propagandize, you must keep your propaganda from reality. Unfortunately for this government, they are lost in their propaganda because they believe it. And so they repeat it like a nursery rhyme. And they believe in everything that they say, even though on the ground the reality is different. There were a lot of complaints about the numerous taxes and the effect it's having on businesses. And of course the youth are very unhappy with the betting tax, because I think in the current state of unemployment, betting has become a source of income for them. And so the government's imposition of the betting tax, has been very unpopular with a lot of the young people. But we need to rationalize taxes. You cannot have a situation with so much confusion in the value-added taxes, where you have people in the same market charging different rates of VAT and selling the same items. And so when we come, we'll rationalize that so that it is uniform across, so that it's more predictable, it's more transparent, instead of the current complicated VAT regime we have. Ghana has the highest VAT rate in, I dare say, in West Africa, because if you calculate all the value-added taxes, we come to almost 22%, which is remarkably higher than most of our neighbors. And that's why I say that we need to be competitive, because if an investor has to make a decision where to put his money, and he looks at the tax regimes, it's not going to choose Ghana. Our competitors would rather attract that investment. And Cote d'Ivoire is doing that a lot. Indeed, in 2022, they overtook us as the second largest economy in West Africa. And that is because of the economic mismanagement of the current administration. Currently, Cote d'Ivoire's GDP is at about 75%, and Ghana is 73%. And it is said that they're going to widen the gap by next year. It's expected that their economy will grow and their GDP will expand to about 83%. And Ghana is expected to expand our GDP to 75%. It's the most unfortunate development, and these 8 years have been a tragedy for Ghana's economic sustainability and well-being. And so it's my hope that we'll put an end to this nightmare and vote to send the Akufo-Addo administration packing. They need to go into opposition and do a bit of reflection on the harm that they have done to Ghanaians and the Ghanaian economy. MDC has problems with the Electoral Commission, not because we dislike the commissioners, but we think that we need to raise the red flag so that all of us resolve those issues before we go into the election, in order that the peace we're all looking for will be sustained. And so anytime we complain about something, it's not because we're crybabies, but we're being proactive to make sure that everybody is satisfied with the process and that we don't wake up on election day to find chaos. We saw it in the assembly elections, if you remember, where some didn't vote on the same day as us. Can you imagine what will happen on election day if some regions are not able to vote at the same time that the rest of the country votes? And that's why we want the Electoral Commission to set up. And so, as announced by our chairman, on the 17th, we're holding a manifestation. It's an NDC protest against the Electoral Commission to make sure that they do their job and do it properly. And so on the 17th, our party members will all wear their t-shirts in every district of this country where there's an EC office, and they'll march peacefully to the EC office and demonstrate to draw the attention of the society to the need to put pressure on the EC to set up and do their job properly. And so we're complaining because of several anomalies in the voters register. that is the process at which we are at the moment. Of course, the filing of nominations are going on. And then after that, there are other processes that will come, including printing of ballot papers and all the others. But we're scrutinizing every stage of the process, and we'll make our feelings known so that we all can monitor the process and make sure that everything goes properly. And so I won't talk much. We don't have enough time. I'll end it there so that I'll leave it to you to ask your questions or make your comments. We went round together. You all saw the same things that I did, just that I did most of the talking, and so the voice adversity is mine alone, but you have to bear with it. And so thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. All of us can see that change is genuinely in the air. So I think that without further ado, and because we are also hard pressed for time, I'll leave the microphone to Beatrice so that she'll moderate the next session of questions. We'll take 4 at a time. And I've seen our father here, Mr. Honorable Mafo. I've seen him somewhere. Good morning, sir, and welcome. So please, let's roll. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, can I see by hands those who want to ask questions? Okay, so I would normally want ladies to also ask. So the first person, second, third, and then the gentleman in pink, the first round of 4 questions. So please come up. No, you and the gentleman in pink. Add that you can speak Tree, you can speak Hausa, you are free to speak any language, as long as the president understands.
From Akwaba Radio, I am Tofik Abubakar. My question is, Your Excellency, you were tagged with corruption in 2016, which led to your loss. Coming back in 2024, if you win, what is your plan and how are you going to tackle corruption in your government and in the administration that we find ourselves in? Thank you.
Kolafia, Mr. President. My name is Danju Mayaro from GBC. My question has to do with the election of MMDCs. In 2010, the NDC government led by the late Professor Mills and you set up what you call the Constitution Review Commission to engage Ghanaians on whether there were portions of the Constitution that needed some tweaking or amendment. Subsequently, the Commission came out with a report and some recommendations. One of the recommendations has to do with election of MMDCs. Subsequent court actions didn't help the process of implementing the Constitution Review Commission reports. Then you lost power. The MPP administration came in, attempted to implement the election of MMDCs, but somewhere along the line, it couldn't see the light of day because there were issues to do with lack of consensus. When you are given the nod in 2024 elections, is it something that is going to engage your attention? If yes, then which mood are you adopting? Are we going partisan or non-partisan election of MMDC? Thank you.
Mr. President, I made the adventure any insusu. I'm say omo pro mine sweating in a kasa yese yaka adwuma eyeni aban ede mayen nti ama mebru ni bebre ani afri enwuma aka no eso misre se yegina baabi a yema informal sector no me imagine mu enu ne kita oman no maame na oton niema wodwom kwadu nkate ne adomo mu sika ne yeje ene ye de atua aban adwuma yefo no eka nti si ama asie ho na momo ehu se enu nso ye adwuma ebe ma oman ye ho akire ye me no ka se free SHS ama nipa bebre akwa kogu school hwan na edo ede aduane abrɛ sanse adwen na koye se ɛhɔ no enye adwuma se enwuma na nso ne ye maame no de hwɛ ya yen yetimi ko school ti ya ama ye kasa ne ye nkyerɛkyerɛ nkoye se adwuma wɔ hɔ na mu aban adwuma na ho ɛden a yebeba nipa bebre akɔ school so mo bepa aban adwuma yebewie no masa ba ya akrɔmfo medase
With me bra penny a biato as here and catchy. Your Excellency, with your permission, as my catchy, na maybe a simple question. Me did your break to Bono FM. Your Excellency, minim say Munina Uniano mobile pro ababi digana so. But a dear Bakwa mente ye, a quaya ye befaswa, a car yabogu on Yibichia. A quabena, Your Excellency, obey President, sir, provisional. A debtor, finance minister, the Maya over 750 billion. A quaben never first will be cheer from a Ghana, but be debt free. That's my question.
Thank you very much. The instrument for the fight against corruption is political will. We have all the laws, we have all the institutions, but if the political will to fight it is not there, the laws won't get up and fight. And so one promise I make is that I would have the political will to fight corruption. We're going to let the anti-corruption institutions work. We have the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So far we know the history of that office. The first special prosecutor was virtually hounded out of office and he had to resign. And when he resigned, he described this president as the mother serpent of corruption. And so, I mean, if the president himself, who's supposed to lead the fight against corruption, is described by his own special prosecutor as the mother serpent of corruption, then you know that we have lost the fight against corruption. Even the second special prosecutor has been hounded. Attempts have been made on his life. And the same party and government that set up the special prosecutor's office is the same administration that is attacking the special prosecutor the most and frustrating his work. When a report is made to the special prosecutor and he starts an investigation, they go and start a parallel investigation with CID and use the CID to clear the person, even when the special prosecutor has not completed his investigation. So it's obvious that, I mean, this government is rather, you know, a contributor to the corruption. We all see the Auditor General's report. After it's presented to Parliament and the Public Accounts Committee sits, we virtually go to sleep, nothing happens. I'm advocating that we have a special process where people who are identified to have misappropriated public funds are fast-tracked and justice is done. If they are not guilty, they are absolved. If they are guilty, the sanctions that are appropriate are applied. Until we do that and have a deterrent, people are going to continue to think that public money is theirs to take or misappropriate as and when they want it. Another aspect of the fight against corruption would involve procurement. One of the worst places we find corruption is in public procurement. This government, when we're in office, made so much noise about sole sourcing. But in our time, sole sourcing was used mostly for projects that were funded by certain countries. And often when they give you a loan, they expect that a contractor from their country would be the one to do the project. Or if a particular company is the one that sourced the loan, they cannot bring the loan and you take it and give to somebody else to do. And so we did sole sourcing mainly targeted at this range of projects. But under this government, everything is sole sourced, everything. And this is the same government that was crying about sole sourcing. And so to resolve that, I said that we're going to create an independent value for money office. And so any contract above $5 million, or as may be determined by Parliament might decide that it should be lower than $5 million, because we're going to legislate it. Any contract above a certain threshold must go for value for money audit to make sure that Ghanaians are getting the right value for whatever project that is being executed. We also said we'll launch Operation Recover All the Loot. And so we're going to do forensic audits into different funds. The All African Games, we're going to audit it. And I mean, how, I forgot how many athletes there were could have eaten food worth $50 million. I mean, nobody can understand, you know, a thing like this. And so we want to see how, I mean, some of the figures you hear in respect of the All African Games are astounding. And so we're going to investigate that. We're going to go into PDS. Why did we lose $190 million American funding, you know, for our electricity and power sector? There are many scandals that have been left, you know, uninvestigated because the president is not interested in investigating them. And so we'll investigate them and we'll recover what we can of Ghanaians' money that has been misappropriated. But like I've always said, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. One of the reasons why we lose the anti-corruption fight is because we think that the corruption fight applies only to the regime that has gone out. And so we pursue our political opponents vigorously and investigate them. But then when the same things are happening in our own administration, we turn a blind eye to them. And so I've warned anybody who would end up serving my administration that if the anti-corruption institutions catch up with you, don't expect that I will come and aid you. You are on your own. And so everybody must conduct themselves in a manner that is befitting of the office that they serve in. We'll also publish a code of conduct for our officers so that everybody must abide by that code of conduct. There are many other anti-corruption measures that we have identified, and you can find it in the manifesto. And so I'll encourage all of you to read it and see what is in there. But let me warn that sometimes the allegations of corruption are anecdotal. They are not real. There's sometimes something gathers life of its own. And so we need to separate what is reality and fact from what is just tittle-tattle, you know, the not usual gossip that takes place. I don't believe that every allegation of corruption is real, you know, but in there's some fact and there's some reality. And so we'll separate the fact from, you know, what is just ordinary gossip. I mean, if somebody put money under their bed, they put that money under their bed. There's a case in court where people are being prosecuted for stealing millions of dollars from under somebody's bed. How did the person acquire that kind of money? Those are things that one wants to look at, and these are active investigations that are going on. I mean, just look at the Coco football that took place between Yoko and OSP on the Cecilia departing. Oh, I've sent you the docket. Oh no, I'm giving you back the docket. No, the docket is this, the docket is that. And then suddenly it goes quiet. Everybody has stopped talking about it. And that is what normally happens under this administration. We support the election of DCs, and as the narrative that was given by the questioner said, it was part of the constitutional review process. When I became president, we had set up, President Mills had set up a constitutional review implementation committee, which had started its work. And then somebody went to court and placed an injunction on the process. And so the process came to a halt. It took a long time before the Supreme Court made a determination. I think they did the determination at the end of 2015. And so by the time they dismissed that case, we had entered an election year. And several of the issues we wanted to deal with under the constitutional review, you needed to build a consensus, you needed to get a certain percentage of parliament, and then you needed to hold a referendum, you know, and there wasn't just enough time to deal with it. And so Cabinet decided then that we should leave the whole constitutional review process to the next administration. When the next administration came, I remember President Akufo-Addo called myself, President Kufuor, and President Rawlings and said he wanted to consult us on something. When we went, it was about the constitutional review process. And because I had been actively involved in it, Prof had given me responsibility for it. He asked a lot of questions, and I explained a lot of things about the review process. But I noticed that he was keenly interested in the issue of political participation, political party participation in the local government process. And so it's no wonder that when the time came, the question for the referendum was being framed around political parties participating in district assembly elections. Now, our point was that we preferred that the local government system remains non-partisan, but we favor the election of DCs. And so we had a different opinion from the president. The president wanted DCs to stand as, you know, members of political parties, assembly members to stand as members of political parties. And so because there was a difference and there was no consensus, and because it's an entrenched clause, then it meant that there was no way the process could go forward. And so one of the things we intend to do is to hold a validation, you know, dialogue on the constitutional review process. It's been several years now. A lot of things have happened. Are some of the issues there still relevant? Have things changed? You know, and so we're going to do a validation process and validate that what was recommended is still what we want to pursue. If not, what changes must happen. And when that has been done, we'll begin the process of consultation and consensus building. What I believe we must do is, there are some amendments to the Constitution that are easy, they are not entrenched. It's the work of Parliament to do. So we're going to winnow all the suggested amendments and take out the ones that are easy to do, and those ones we can go ahead and implement them. The more difficult ones, like Article 71 and all the other tough nuts, that one we need to sit together on a non-partisan basis, bring all the political parties, religious leaders, CSOs, and everybody together, and then we sit and chart a path forward. I believe that if we are able to gather that consensus, then we can go ahead and pass those amendments. So we'll take another go at the constitutional review process, and I hope that over the 4-year term, we should be able to bring that to a successful close. I appreciate very much Million Obusa Efa Ejumaho say Nasim Bisano Adia here. Say na okan no emre pii no obi wie schooler na ordwen say menye ejuma ene e say aban ene efa me na me kai say ye nam kwan so me kan ho asem me say wo hwe aban ejuma ye fo nyina omumro 900,000 me wa your population yet more than 30 million. Inti say aban ejuma ye fo ye 900,000 per o de hwe emaburu na e free universities in Kwan eba almost 100 and something thousand a year. Inti enyo bia na aban betimi afa no. Inti na was say private sector so ye boa na ebie private sector mu na etimi fa omo aka. Na say wo de eto bebre egu private sector so na said American no VAT we wo gine 24%, we wo gine say na with the e-levy atom almost with the COVID levy atom almost and you may be GRA tata omo ebe then a private sector timi enyi etimi afasa mabuni ewe djumam na senya mekano obi de sika eba say or they be invested in West Africa or share Ghana no share Cote d'Ivoire or Cote d'Ivoire because almost a 2 almost general ever form yet there ever so bad and see Sanya Manina I will say Yasheni Yashe Abraham Miwabaimu for 4 consistent years yenya almost the highest foreign direct investment into the country because na business environment near nti na ma nipa bebre encouragement say omo fa musika embehye yemaimu e was say yeba Ghana eyesa biom abra ndisi wa baimu Ghana for many years na yena according to the World Bank index a year the best destination for ease of doing business. And so then na enyoma sasa na senya minyu aka no e was say yema entrepreneurial training minim senya beka no say nipa ye training hey be this your nungwa tree I was say yema bruno yema o madwen say ono so betimi ewie school na ono a ebie na ejuma na ono so afanipa so we must train them to also become employers instead of employees eno na America ejuma nkete wo ho a wo betimi dia hyase ye call doma ho sei e mabunu bebre eye poultry enso munni obi a oso omumu se aban epese ye boa na yenya emabunu no na omoso omope bibi eye na omosi etimihwe omonwa ene o se aban eso omumu enti ne de program e friend ejuma ra aba ye be identify 10,000 young people ebi obi pese oye bakery obi pese oye poultry obi pese oye fish farming enyuma bebre wo ho a emabunu no wo so omumu obo omon betimi aye because say abra ye wa ban mu na your program be your friend Youth Enterprise Support Initiative lady bakwa oba bakwa ya boa no baba wa bakwa ya boa no ebesin there or a leading exporter of shea butter from the northern region or the hair cosmetics or the hair creams or the hair seminar a lot of things ebesin there wafa nipa be 30 awuye ejuma mano apart from that also Emma omuye share butter no auto free omo so she gives them employment because she pays them for the share butter that they produce. Enti say ye kase obia oye school bia na aban betimi afano edwuma mu that one is an illusion. I just say about private sector na ye page private sector no na omofa ekwada no enti na ye kase we must encourage the private sector, send them there 24-hour economic policy on Besum. Because baby industrial areas, buses, but me call Brazil that. Me call baby they have almost exported grapes and mangoes and a almost juice factory. And grapes, the mangoes no near MET export standard no. Almost into juice and also normal exporting. Normal si hostel kesiye a ejuma efo no wo and ajo buses e de omoko ejuma ekosi omo a na omo mapon ejuma no na e de omo aba and it works 24 hours cycle because they are exporting. Until Marka say me ba you better set up accelerated export development program. I'm here president, I'll chair it to make sure say if we take advantage of African Continental Free Trade Area, I feel you have opportunity say you bet me register your products. Say you have standard board certification, what they call African Free Trade Secretariat. What samples of the products share now approval. Make us say yes, Ghana near register 77 products, but we share Nigeria almost 200 and something products. And that's just our products no. Obi opebi wa Africa bia obetimi order free Nigeria home. Until see more products are you be certified on the African Continental Free Trade Area. Senebeya you betimi exporting across other countries. yɛbɛyɛ na a car ɛda so yɛbɛtua ɛno asɛm ɛda ho enti na me say yɛba we need to know the position, the actual position. I will say yɛhu baabi a yɛsikasɛm ɛda enti na me say meba will do a national economic dialogue na yɛahwɛ yɛsikasɛm will audit the economy na what the state of the economy is yɛde atodwa na Ghana for ehu say ɛna nneɛma te. And then from that economic dialogue yɛnyinaa yɛde adwene bɛba and then we'll chart the way forward. Omo negotiation for debt restructuring no omo afrɛ yɛ anka ho aban way and negotiation, so we've not been a part of it. Until up to now, details of Omone Eurobond for agreement, I haven't seen it as a leader of the opposition party. Until I just am and I know what the situation is. Now, yetimi how to resolve them. But meaning say there were 2 humps from next year. You better start 8 year debts. You know, at the frontier, I say and your stable kakra, and they say make us say we don't pay $1 of our debt. We have a moratorium on debt repayment. But from next year, you better start 8 year. Now, you start 8 year, I just say you share dollars. And yes, see this nearly bit year, as I share dollars. Now, you did share a sarcano. Now, share and your quantity at the dollars every cocoa above from. We share oil and gas industry 8 years, oil and gas production reduced by 32%. Into a gold on one crying, gold mum a cost from about 88 tons to 135 tons a year. And also NSI has a say galamsey. It's a very hydra-headed problem. But we hope say Nyamiadunti will be able to weather the storm. I will say Yamagana for Tiase, the situation in which we are. At the frontier, Abayin ewo problem, they say they won't tell us the truth. Everything, the economy in this quarter grew by this. But Yeglain said the picture is really not rosy. But catch the amount for know what the real situation is at. No more here. Then we'll give a program on how to resolve the problem. Until I make us say the first step in getting a cure for your sickness is to diagnose it. Until the first thing I will diagnose what our problem is, and then together we will all chart the road forward. I will say it here, say all of us will have to tighten our belts. Now, Yanka say, Ejuma any Equia tighten on belt. Now, presidency there, now, yes, we must also tighten our belts. Until I may say, the bar will cut down the size of ministers. We can't be paying so many ministers, you know, when things are not going well. And apart from that, Office of the President budget, 2-point-something billion. I will see a trust and reduce it so that everybody will know that all of us are tightening our belts. But that's it.
The gentleman in the purple shirt, please come. And then you from here, first to, then the first person, and then the gentleman here. We'll have another round. Please don't worry. And if you don't get to ask a question here, trust me, you'll come to the Flagstaff House next year and ask. So don't worry. If I were you, I'll not ask here. So. And please let me say that just one question and cut the preamble so that other people can get the opportunity to ask. May who will be actual question? Be one patch.
Bedasi. Otafri Jaberima, Class Media Group Limited. Sunyane, Your Excellency, Senye Wonkasa Emu Wokae no. Adia Bakwa Eda Sunyane Mai Akumaso Nananom, any page ne wokurimu, every one water home pentenkwa. New Doma Yahimako to Krum Kwainoa. Elenke eya Bono ene Bono East no. Erimisa abanya watiswe adeɛ sɛ wɔde ama contract nanso yɛ kasa sɛsi yi ayɛ hwebua dansɛm a me nuanom wɔ ha ebedi adanse yɛ sɛ wɔden a ɛwɔ saa mpɔtam hɔ no ɛtie so paa wadaroma ahobrɛse mu a sɛ nyame yɛ adom na wobɛdi ɔman yi so a within your first 120 days no what the ya ohima koto krum ni udoma kwan ebeka wa agenda no ho ana na kwan ben so na obefa obeyama omanfo no ho atɔ na wo ho asan won beda ase
you're from Nanaike. His Excellency, there's something bothering me and then I want an explanation. Subsequent governments are abandoning in ano. You say anytime government is awarding road contract, especially highways, governments seek for loans. Parliament always approve loan for this road. And when it comes to Bono region, it's always under GOG. You remember for some time now, during Professor Mills, during President Kufuor, you hear Brekum Sekwa Road, you hear Brekum Sample Road, and it's all under GOG, except during your era where Cocoa Board Road. So how are you assuring the people of Bono that your second coming, our major roads, the highways, will not be under GOG anymore, but rather Parliament will, approve loans so that our roads can be, well constructed. Thank you, His Excellency.
Within the Kwabena Santi Water Free German Radio, Your Excellency, Yaya wo German South, and then Portamu, Jumedia, Yamanfo Dipa, Cashew, a Baku Kwa, you Cocoa Board. You say omo regulate omo ne toko code in Bibia. But Cashew, recently now omo say your Tree Crop Development Authority. Your one of the price aba your shares you say it cost 7 cedis. You start to see a talk cashew na any even a month na price na drop it 3 cedis, 2 cedis. Ama cashew farmers no dodo na sha say twa omo cashew gu. She ben no ada roma wo edema cashew akuafo. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Ben Asari from Green IFM at UNE. I would like to ask, although we have many questions, but I've been instructed to ask only one. Charity begins at home. Your candidate for parliamentary candidate has extensively told us his plans for sports development in the Bono region. I want to ask, just to find out whether it's in tandem with Your Excellency, your vision for sports development in the region. And as well, Galamsey.
So thank you very much. The question is on sports. Thank you very much. It's on sports.
Should I ask again?
Yes, please ask again.
Okay. So Okay, Your Excellency, I really wish at this moment we could have a 24-hour engagement with you so we can ask all the questions we have. But I was asking your vision for sports development in the Bono region. If you check the records, most of our athletes, most of our sportsmen are coming from Bono region. But we can't have even a single sports stadium to boast of. And then Galamsey.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He wanted to do sports Galamsey.
You, Madam Ase. Nedikan, Enra, Yane, Nano, Yane, Regional House of Chiefs, HCI, and Aquine Assem, and a year the dominant and Comma AD, Neon is saying, there are some priority roads. I was saying, Yaba Bemwa, I was here because where roads are, your friend arterial roads, and no, and the main roads are. I just say a free your mantem and connect a mantem no with the national capital. Into your policy, they say the road linking region to region must be good. The road linking regions to the capital must be good. And those are the first priority roads. I was say, Oshe. And Ebia, Efiha, Eko Techiman. Techiman afe a regional capital. And the road from Sunyani to Techiman must be good. The road from Sunyani to Kumasi must be good. The road from Kumasi to Techiman must be good. The road from Techiman to Tamale must be good. And then you can tell where your priorities lie. But after that, also, your economic roads. If you say, you will be you take Cashew, you will be you take cocoa, you will be you de banche, eba jum, Techiman, and now baby, you look at those economic roads and based on that, you prioritize. Now, me did say first question and the second question are linked. Me say adeni enfa loans enfa nya kwan no. Na fe loans na kofi hiaba. Ya bobo sia intiminjia. Afa you can go outside for loans so. Eni hobium. Until about 2027, 2028, Ghana has been shut out of the international capital market. I just say multilateral agencies here, BB to say African Development Bank, World Bank, IMF, Afri-Exim Bank, multilateral agencies are now bilateral, ABR government to government. But Eurobond, any private lenders there were shut out. And yeah, they are on the Maibum. I was say, we can create the fiscal space to be able to invest in the road sector. And I know we have to do it by priority. Other roads, we can take care of them in the meantime. I know now buying a person drip equipment here, so that at the district basis, we can keep the roads open, re-gravel them nicely, put some quota on them and all that. But I don't want my dream because you just go and bring that number of road equipment. You haven't employed operators. Into districts, omunya grade operator, omunya roller operator, omunya operators to operate the machines. So the machines are still standing there. Aside from that, they didn't make budget for fuel. Some machines also diesel. Some of those machines drink a drum of diesel a day. Into one more budget, how are they going to be able to run those equipment? Into it's a good idea, but not well thought through. On politics and then without doing the necessary organization. We'll take the concept, but we'll advertise and recruit the operators. We'll train them in how to maintain it. We'll make sure that the district assemblies have the budget to run those equipment. We'll identify the roads. Every district must identify the emergency roads that have to be worked on. And government will budget for it so that we can give them the money to go out and work on those roads. Road Wakano, road Oman Penyon Confoy and Shasi, about 30 kilometers, not very long. Yeah, by Twaso, but it's been abandoned since then. And also because a linky region to region, I was say, your approach to Cashew is different from normal MPP. We're going to set up a Cashew development board. Senior, your cocoa development board, a cocoa board. But on the tree crop development authority, a year authority and focusing on the cashew industry. Share that oil palm bibia eka ho. Until there's no fixed focus on cashew as an export crop. Until yaba yebe separate cashew. Now you're setting up a special board to look after cashew. And then near Percy and say cashew bia ebefi omaya kobia will impose a 2% levy on it. Now that 2% levy, no, it will go into a fund. And that fund with seed money, Abaimbema Cashew Development Board, no seed money of $20 million plus the 2% levy imposed on all cashew exports. And Tisa Sikano will use it to influence the market because buying the better cashew at the approved price. Until the farmers will prefer to sell there, and that will force all the other buyers to come up. But apart from that, we identify a number of industrialists near Mahama are setting up cashew processing factories here. Already many cashew for Nibia Casa omo de call India no. And Makachom say yaba yem person mo de sa cashew you be call India. Factories are more on mumbe bi wa na mo ye cashew no ha. And no Makaso Mr. President yati yebe se unya baby mai na yenya asase ni bibia na kania wo ha yebe enti Makase yebe agro-industrial zones ewo regions bia na aban ebeje asase no ni atwe kania yatwe nsuo ya ye kwan no na ya cheche ama developers no na omo besisi factories no ha, and then they'll process it here so that our farmers can get a better price. I'm saying no sports development. I'm saying Brekum Yakob Brekum or Hidon Kasai no or Kan Wasem. Na he said it especially because of Brekum. Brekum has some of the most football teams in the league. Oshe from Boafakwata no time no. As Boafakwata no yes unyane Bono. Hey, where the man can ye crack. Where the meti crack. Hey, Brekum Arsenal. Na Brekum Chelsea so. Na Arsenal no ne. And also a Brekum Arsenal. Na de hene Adriana Stars Doma hey makonta foi omuni bolbo yes I mean with the talent I'm say me bano our bobol no ne ma side because me side there me footballer or footballer our bobol we are see afana bia enti I mean, because of sports talent, I will say you're investing in sports because sports is another area for job creation. Because talent, until I say the facilities never send a bear on me. Until one of the focuses, and they say you can send new regions Libya, you'll be providing with a modern sports stadium. Until it's a project that we'll look at, but also. Bono region they don't have a sports stadium like Mahama Sports Stadium, Esipon Sports Stadium and all the others. And also is something that we'll look at to make sure that at least the three regions have good sports stadia where we can promote sports. And
President Yadasi na emrene tiayen inti mo first meet the press now so I'll give the last two opportunity to ladies. Our boss is very sensitive to gender issues and wants women to be represented. So I see the first lady here and then the second lady here. So please come and take the microphone and ask. Oh, those who identify as women, please, next time.
Thank you, His Excellency. Pacha Femi Akusia Hinoa. morning show host Akumapa FM and EB Radio Germany. My question I may be saying, Osha NDC 2016, a bigger blow na Emma Olusu ye Galamsey. Now Osha this current administration, this current government, Galamsey aye too much. Ekosopa. Now no aye huwa se Ghana Medical Association kura issue statement be say abino embani small scale mining. Usha yera John Dramani Mahama ne message anase ne campaign messages a wo kan bi ne say wo ba ban so a ba ban mu anase ye to ma no 2024 mu ma osanya konwa na usha abrofo anase amonone a China for mo abefa galam say no mu na etu e na Ghana for mo no ye cheche wo mo enti obaba mass training on omo ye sa adwan so that one be in a rightful way, one be mining, small scale mining in that contest. I stand to be corrected. Now, my question is, Quite Bena, His Excellency, Woba Obe fast, we saw Ghana for, so woman are Quenya, so when ye be beer. Oberman so, where they are training or more, Yaba Monita or more, and ye be jaw or more, because young mo baby or mobile. Ain't be a woman training. You should do this. Send a bay yen say and so yen say and say. But ube once our more you so wrongful way. No more send a baby not ASEAN booming. So what are the measures, sir? His Excellency Woba. Ube fast waboa. Na say ye Jermuama obiasi ye training or more. You be making sure so they are doing the right thing. Then sign say and so. Thank you.
But from me, Oba Pefia, news editor, Master FM Brekum. But my question is, you share agenda 111, by way, a phrase na. Baby to say Brekum because of a year, as I say, 170, I think say, a one more day no, I stand still. And see, me person being bisase. Other than you perceive the project, a core district, and I say, the core baby. Abino ento asase free individuals no ho na won find any project than say it be depend solely on nananom say wo mo ma yensase ye nyina ye nim say nananom so dodo na to wo mo nsase awie ti e ba ne sa na ama say district bi ana say community bi benya project no na aye difficult ntimi bi say ye ntimi mpe asase ni free individuals no than say a better than ama because of assassin 179 program no I stand still and that's a project no I stand still me that say
so yeah that so question we dey I say about me and was on so no na going to be anchored assassin. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Please you can answer now.
Galamsey Okono and Nafum, it's a very difficult and complicated fight for two reasons. Bakone say a source of employment with high unemployment rate ama Bruni Bibre are taking part in it. Say no, yeah, binya kakra. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is say afe gold abe a leading export. And on kura seed no, and export to almost 130 tons of gold a year. Cocoa industry above from, oil industry eco from, into three major leading exports and a daso a jinaho and a gold. Into obviously fights against illegal mining, ebema production no above from, and that would also affect the stability of the currency. But your opportunity cost, you see a share and no, now you share the damage to the environment. And Mimi Gidi said the damage to the environment is not worth a free gold. And we'll do it in a number of ways. The first one is forest reserves. I will see a stop or more mining in forest reserves. Because this year, we shall send ya and no year na utimi who said the results of the last few years. Forestry Commission say over the last 8 years, 37 forest reserves have almost been lost. HSA, we might not be able to recover them. And the first thing we say, yeyi omufiho, and then we'll take a strategy and see how we can begin to restore the forest reserves. And don't put in a juma beba, because we can employ them, you know, to help to grow trees again in those forest reserves near Chiaomoka. And so that's one area that we must look at. The second one is Yensua essay. Essay in a number of ways. One, a brino won't no so almost 2 gold no every river bed no. I just say anua a war in Sionase a ho and almost 2 normal hokro. And Chomo hokra na atacha a free mumba na asa a hokra consume. And that's one. Then the second one, a bit more and you're on the river, but river name chain. Now, almost pumping no echo assassin, so normal gold, no matter pumping, and so now you know back into the river. And I know it's a danger, one in terms of chemicals, and then 2 in terms of water supply. Nano, Ghana Water Company, because omuntimi processing nsuo because atache aba nsuo no mo edoso normally anka ebeye west this year because nsuo enshadan taught this year because nsuo taught heavily it make kokoro mad no ekọ but now rivers no are not flowing as fast into ama aye west into we must just take a decision say alluvial gold no de yenja because me hu aman pia bebrea Omo rivers, Omo say gold or river na say, but because of the purity of environment and maintaining the river, no, Omo take a decision say, Omo mine this our gold, no. And to say answer first our decision now, then we must not mine the alluvial gold. We should just leave it there. Then aside from that, Nyamika and they say, yeah, make a difference. Galamsey and yet the same as small scale mining. Small scale mining is illegal. There's a law backing small scale mining. And Jomo will be concessioner. Now offer Kwampaso a concessioner. He is entitled to do small scale mining. But the problem is I was said no kwanso. Into nearby first they say we'll do an audit of the concessions. Why a concession no one? Where is the concession from where to where? What is going on your concession? And obia or concession bia, we must hold the person responsible for whatever happens on your concession. It is the amount of concession. Now the Amagalam say for no mututu say assassina, we'll take the concession from you. Because you perceive a responsible mining. And the American and say Manka say we'll train them. Me say your graduates at University of Mines and Technology. Every year hundreds of them come out. We are experts on mining. And the district bia ye mining bia, ye be Minerals Commission office, ye be EPA, omo share mining so ye be sa office no ho. Ne afasa e mabunu ye be map how many concessions are in this district. One are concessions ni ye omodia. Na ye the graduates see omuni mining ho asem ne attach omo to the concession owner. So that omo how to do the mining, how to reclaim the land. No makase omo mining omunye sikano. Yebe sikani bi atonchen. They have to pay a reclamation bond. I the better home. Into ye na o cover asaseno amnano o piepia and you go so na o ye na kaman. Na yama seedlings no due go so. O yes a na de usikama. So one yan so a sa sikano ya de befa obi na wabe siesi asase no na yedi sika no etua sani panaka. And I know here some of the programs we have. Agenda 111 senior minua Beatrice kind we di anka o say odi bisa yanom. If you say I don't know how they went about the whole thing, and Empo Nyameka say, you know, we started so many projects at the same time. We need dedicated funding for. Nyabebane say, at the end of their term, no, they will leave a lot of uncompleted hospital projects because Mahum Bebrea contracted any site. Oma plaster, no windows yet, no doors, no equipment, nothing. And there's no dedicated funding at Omode, government of Ghana. But Makase, we're not going to stop any projects. We'll continue. Project BIA, of course, we'll let them continue. But we have to create the fiscal space. Senebeya, Ibetimi, Afande, na Ometimi, Ewie. By the end of their term, they say, Ombewie, even 10 and now 15. Ahmed Mpose, not even one. That's completely with equipment and everything. I doubt that Ombetimi Ewie. It means that the whole headache is going to be put on the shoulders of the next government. But Makase will continue and complete abandoned and uncompleted projects. And Agenda 111 will be one of them. We'll have to find the money to continue and finish it. But make me feel say, Aban etimi acquire assassin. Say Aban per se ye bibia emra trese ye betimi aje assassin. Obi assassin say private to say ahemfodi ye betimi aje na ya compensate yomu. If we want, for instance, make us agro-industrial zones, say yebe acquire either say yebeto and I say yebeje assassin near per compensation among landowners no na ya no into an industrial zone. Medicine.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Mahama, and thank you to all of you. We are very, very grateful for your time. You know, there's something that we in the maritime do, the polluter pays. So you pay a fine for, you see all the vessels that you see day in, day out, they all pay something. So I think I agree with what Mr. Mahama is saying about the polluters paying and the Galamsey people also paying for some of the damage that is being done to the environment. Without further ado, let me say a very big thank you to each and every one of you who joined us this morning and wish you Godspeed and say that very soon we'll be back here again and hopefully we can continue with the conversation. All of us are available day in, day out, 24/7. The business starts with all of us. But please, I believe that you in the media can help even more with the fight against Galamsey. So let's start now. But remember, a vote for John Mahama and Jane Nana Opokwajima is a vote to reset Ghana, and a vote for change is a vote also to improve on our standards of living. Once more, thank you very much, and may God richly bless us all. Thank you, sir.
Eba cho, moi, free.